Just like everything else in the classroom, it's really important to establish clear expectations and procedures when it comes to using devices and technology and facilitating that kind of learning. When I first started using devices on a more regular basis, I use Chromebooks. That's what we have. I was a little bit scared of managing that. It seems like I have to give up some control to let everyone kind of do their own thing and not be able to see exactly what everybody's doing, and everybody's not doing the same thing at the same time. But I quickly realized and found out that if you're really clear on what it's supposed to look like and what they're supposed to be doing, just like anything else, then it's not any bigger deal than anything else that we do. So at the beginning of the year, I have students assigned a specific Chromebook, and we practice and are taught the procedure of collecting Chromebooks and putting them back at the end of the class period. And then we also talk about what they should be doing and what they can be doing while they're on their device. I also really like some of the programs like Desmos. When you're doing an activity that's been built, you can pause the students at a certain point where they're not able to move on without you. I, in fact, find that I have fewer management issues when I use devices than if I'm just asking them to take notes and we're just having a class without technology. It keeps them occupied and it keeps them something to engage with. You can't assume that they know what to do, so you do have to be very specific and very clear up front. And every day, I teach high school, they still don't know what they're supposed to do. They still need to be reminded every day what it's supposed to look like and what they're supposed to be doing and not doing on their devices. When I have more of an activity that they are supposed to kind of follow along at their own pace, and maybe one where I'm not stopping them quite as frequently, I do like to include verbal directions as well as written directions on the screen so that they can see it, they can hear it if they need to, they can listen to it again, especially if they have any problems reading or understanding directions. Sometimes students with special ed services really appreciate this feature, and it really helps them understand what to do next. For most of the activities that I do, even using technology, the students are still encouraged to talk with each other and have discussions with each other as they're interacting with their screens. They're also interacting with their neighbors, and I like that kind of blended model where they can see and do things on their own, but then they can also talk to other people around them if they want to. Having clear directions and procedures that are pretty consistent every time we do something with our devices has really cut back on questions and students not knowing what to do, when to do it. There are times when I notice a student is not doing what they're supposed to on their device and they're off on a different website or something. But as I'm able to walk around the classroom and monitor what they're doing because they're working at their own pace, then it's easy for me to just say aside to that student, hey, can we get back on track and please go back to what you're supposed to be doing? And I'm not focused on lecturing or doing whatever in the class, so it's actually easier to monitor this way than if I'm also trying to teach and make corrections as they're going about the lesson.